When I was sentenced to life and with the possibility of parole, I saw no end in sight. I didn't think I would survive, let alone make it until they released me, if they ever did. People have told me they could not do 5 years in prison, so they don't know how I did 29. You'll be surprised at what you're capable of enduring. You're more resilient than you think you are. So here are some things I've learned about people in life through my experience and observations. Life is hard at times, but we must look at the hard times as a test, not as the final stop. Don't think this is how your story ends. The pain, the struggle is temporary. You have more fight in you than you realize. We were not built to break but to rise. Every storm passes, and when it does, you will be standing. 8 months before I was released, my brother passed. It hit me like a ton of bricks. It was worse than the 29 years I had been incarcerated, but somehow I picked myself up. I honestly do not know where I got the strength from to go on. So just when you think it can't get any worse, it may get worse. However, do not let that be the end. Sometimes we need reminding about things. Everything happens for a reason. The good days tell you life is beautiful. The bad days tell you things can be learned from life. Good people give you memories. Bad people give you life lessons that you will never forget. So keep your head up and walk straight. On the topic of keeping your head up and walking straight, let's look at the line. Whenever a lion wants to go somewhere, it doesn't worry about how many hyenas are in its way. It just goes. Another thing I learned in prison is that we should not take life for granted. Life is precious, so live it to the fullest. Because you never know what tomorrow will bring. Another thing that is precious is time. Make the most of each day and whatever you're doing. Time is more valuable than money. In prison, there are some people who try to have as many friends as possible. It seems to be worse here in the free world. Some people in prison feel that the bigger the group they belong to, the safer they'll be. This is not always the case. I had a small group I hung around. Most of the people I worked out with, they had my back and I had theirs. I would rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies, meaning I would rather have a few people I can depend on than a whole bunch of people and not knowing if I can depend on them or not. Also, especially with bullies, people have people around them to validate their own actions. Have you ever noticed that bullies always have at least a couple of their friends, cronies around them when they're bullying? This is for a couple of reasons. They want to back up in case the bullied person starts fighting back, and they want to validate their actions. We all want and need validation to an extent, but it shouldn't be based on fear, mockery, and bullying is a mask for insecurity, and both usually involve fake laughter. Mockery isn't strength, it's fear disguised as laughter. Mockery says more about the marker than mocked. Well, Tim, I hope this was the type of video you wanted. If anyone else has a video suggestion, let me know. Tim wanted to know if there was any advice I learned from prison that could be used in the free world. As I said, I just used what experience I experienced and observed. I hope you all enjoyed it and can get something from it.